So, hi everyone. This is Cardano Builders check-in number 10. Today is the 3rd of October 2022. And here at Cardano Builders, we are a group of people who are currently or planning to build their projects and applications on top of Cardano. Our goal is to inform each other mainly about what we've been doing, what we are going to do, the challenges that we are facing, also to celebrate our wins and to keep each other accountable. And the main goal here is not like to provide solutions in the sessions themselves, but more to create this network of builders so we can provide some references, some people that others could talk to in order to be able uh, to win their challenges. So, yeah, next slide, please. So here we ask everyone to provide a 30-second speech. It should include what you have accomplished recently, what are the next steps, what do you need help with. And usually we have 10 minutes discussion per project. And all the information that is shared here should be treated and is treated as confidential. If people want to use it externally, they should ask the presenter if this would be allowed or not. And I believe I can start uh, providing my pitch for mediators.ai. So the project itself, mediators.ai, is the first platform of alternative dispute resolution that we are building at LogSync. And the main goal is to connect disputing or conflicting parties with a certified mediator that is ideally or have the right background and tools to help them on uh, solving their or resolving their conflict or dispute. And regarding our recent win, I believe I can see that we've talked to a few people that are very relevant and provided very good feedback regarding our go-to-market strategy. We recently had a few meetings where we explained our platform and our goal, and it was very interesting because at, at first one of the people that we talked to misunderstood what we are proposing and said what he thought it would be a good product and actually in platform, and actually it was very aligned what we were trying to explain. So this was good feedback and made us more strongly believe that we are going in the right direction, and also to prepare uh, to, to prepare our pitch deck to raise some money in the future. Also, we are onboarding today a new member of our team. He's an intern, and he's going to be helping us with Pluto's development mainly. So our next steps, as I said, we are still under some financial stress, and we have to raise funds. So we are working on preparing this pitch deck and then send it and talk to investors. And one thing that we had to have prepared and clarity about is this go-to-market strategy. So I believe we've achieved this recently, um, and now we are working on the pitch deck at the same time that we are onboarding this new intern and refactoring our code for mediators.ai because we've detected some possible improvements that could be done there. And besides this, our pains that we are currently struggling with, mainly the financial stress, as I've mentioned, and also our team have decreased size recently, and we have more tasks for each team member. So this is somehow a little bit stressful as well, and is directly related to the financial stress. We cannot bring more people on board because we don't have funds to do that. So if we solve this issue, the issue with the team size is also going to be overcome. And that's it from my side. Any questions, comments?
Um, yeah, for my part, just congratulations on the progression of the project. I'm a bit curious for this intern that you're hiring. How does it align to what I thought? You have a core developer team, no? How does it
Um,
work, like in terms of the team for developing the core product, and how will this intern align with it?
yes, so actually we had three people working on Pluto's development back then, but now we only have one. And this person is fully dedicated to Pluto's development at the moment. So the main goal with the new intern is that he's going to first check everything that we've done so far and support the development of some applications, for example, our PAB code, which needs some improvement, and he's going to be not fully responsible because he's an intern, but dedicated to detect these issues and research possible solutions, and then talk to the Pluto's dev lead that we currently have to help overcoming these challenges that we are facing at the moment.
Okay, cool. Um, so I'm just asking this because I am trying to learn Plutus as well, and I'm always a bit unsure how a core Plutus person aligns with the rest of the web application stack, or on the other hand, how a React person starts understanding a bit of Plutus and the web APIs. I'm a bit curious. Can you tell me a bit how you've built mediators.ai in terms of stack? Is it like React calling a blockchain API or?
Yeah, I think Matthias will be better suited to answer this, but something that I can add right away is that there are many libraries that you can do many things with the Cardano blockchain, for example, using Python. You don't have to use Plutus to do everything. There's some basic stuff like uh, building and transacting real EU TXOs. So if you're not using smart contracts, you can use these libraries very easily. And I can share some references with you as well if you're
Yeah,
interested.
yeah. For my project, I'm more looking into mesh that the Gimbal Labs is partnering with. But yeah, Matthias, can you share a bit on the technical stack?
Sure, yeah. So on the front end, currently Mediators AI uses React. That was the decision by the CTO back at the time. This is what we're stuck with right now. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's different preferences on the front end, right? So there's a traditional web stack in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, essentially, right? On one side, there are backend services. For example, we utilize also Node.js for Mediators AI to communicate with what is known as the PAB, which is really a bunch of services in a Kubernetes cluster. So we have Cardano Node, Cardano Wallet. What else is there? Plutus Apps. So a bunch of um, services that essentially run communicate with a HTTP package servant, which is a little older, right? Or hasn't been updated recently, but it's good enough. It's very lightweight. And so our Node.js service talks with the PAB. We also store some data, obviously not on chain. Um, that is primarily stored in a Neo4j graph database. That's used for our recommendation engine. That is the main part. We have infrastructure on GCP, which we are in the process of moving over to IBM because I just negotiated a better deal at IBM compared to GCP in terms of credits. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's really
Um,
interesting.
Yeah, for React, at least we have TypeScript. I'm absolutely not a fan of React. That's an open secret, right?
Hmm.
When I first started using it in 2015, it was great. Um, but I think Meta is trying to reinvent the wheel over and over again just to stay relevant in the developer ecosystem. That's just my personal interpretation of it, but it is not getting better.
It's heavier and heavier, right?
Right. So, and what I've seen also is that, especially newer developers who have not established great coding practices yet, especially how they think about designs and systems architecture or the lack thereof, um, as for the last decade or so, we really have thick lines, right? There's a lot of business logic, a lot of server-side rendering that is happening on in the browser essentially, right? Um, Build tools are pretty complicated and often also pretty heavy. So unfortunately, there's not too much thought in general that goes into these thick clients, um, meaning that it looks very, very hacky and it's really, really hard to develop. And Vue, on the other hand, which is my framework of choice, does not allow you to get away with crappy code that often. So it is easier to read, therefore
So
easier to maintain and develop.
is Vue aligning with TypeScript or
Yes,
not so
yes.
much?
Vue 3 is actually written in TypeScript, and yes.
Okay. Cool.
TypeScript is a little bit of a hurdle for some to overcome, right? I mean, with JavaScript you have dynamic typing, and now you add typing on top of it, right? So you kind of the good thing about TypeScript is it's opt-in,
Mhm.
but the way
Yeah,
we
I've
right,
done a bit of TypeScript. It was really interesting because I also I came from Visual Basic and C Sharp and etc. Then I was transitioning to Python, doing a bit of data science, and now in just this year I started transitioning to TypeScript, which was a bit of a not Node.js, really just TypeScript, pure libraries and everything. And it's really interesting because if you want, you can use all the objects, the typing. If not, you can just do what's the name of it? A generic thing, a generic type of thing, and you can put whatever you want in there. So, like you said, it's opt-in.
right. So
And
this is a little bit about our stack.
mhm, cool, really interesting.
Any other questions?
Well, about mediators in general, I'm curious about the mediation course. You want to talk a bit about that?
Yes, actually, this is a big win that I missed. We were funded for this mediation training proposal that in Catalyst 19,
Yeah.
uh, and I believe it was Friday. Matthias sent an email to everyone who had signed up to the form, providing three options for um, the schedule of the course. And I think it's going to start close to the 22nd of October
Okay.
for all options.
Right. Right. It's Saturday, October 22nd. That would be definitely a start date. It's 8 a.m. Pacific time. Uh, you might have noticed in the form November, because we have probably the last time that we do a time shift in California to Pacific Standard Time again on November 6th. So there's a little bit of change in the UTC time, which is noted. But yeah, there are
Okay.
three options. Right now it's pretty split, so I hope more people will make their voices heard so that we can finalize the schedule pretty soon. But yeah, I'm very excited about that. Um, as you know, more people learn the skills that are required in mediation. So I'm really looking forward to that.
So, how many people will be attending approximately?
Well, depending how many people will um, so for the schedule it's going to be a majority vote, right? And then so I still have to wait to get a little bit more responses on that form, and then
Hmm.
I'll let everyone know. It's like,
Okay.
hey, this is the schedule, and then I'll see who can attend. So right now 25 people have filled out the form. Renata, our instructor, her sweet spot is 18, even though she has done trainings for a lot of for a lot less people, which I think is in the favor for the attendees. But yeah, in the proposal, we essentially said, okay, it needs to be at least 10 people. If the Cardano community pays for this, then let's have at least 10 people sign up, because Renata's rate does not uh, change no matter how many participants are going to sign up.
Okay. Also curious if you're going to have more locks, mediators, AI insiders taking the training. If you're, you know,
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole purpose. Oh, no, not the whole purpose. Sorry, it's early in the morning. If you,
considerable part. Yeah.
yeah, the whole purpose of so we had a couple of shifts on organizational level, or I think we provided more clarity into what it means to work for a startup. And for me, there are really two most important metrics when it comes to product development: product quality and product delivery speed. Those are often at odds, but especially for product quality, just looking at it in isolation, I believe that people need to, first of all, know about the problem, or know about the problem that they're trying to solve, how they're solving it, because the definition for me for software engineers, they're not coders, they're not programmers. Software engineers are problem solvers, first and foremost, that utilize a set of certain skills that they hopefully expand over time, right? Coding, software development, to more efficiently, effectively, and more fully solve those problems, right?
Right. No problem. Yeah.
And in order to understand the problem and also the solution for that, right? It's like, hey, I think you should at least have an understanding how to mediate, first and foremost, because we have two user bases to support. First, the alternative dispute resolution specialists, um, mediators in this case, and then also, well, disputing parties, the people that you're trying to mediate for, right? So this is essentially what the training is for Locke's internal uh, team members, right? Um, so yeah, absolutely. Um, Now I can not and will not force anyone to participate in the training, but it's highly encouraged. And yeah, because ultimately, also, if you're not, I mean, there's use cases like there's many great startups that um, develop solutions for a particular niche of people, and sometimes employees or even co-founders at a startup cannot never ever utilize this product that they're developing, right? But if you can, if you're in the kind of market as a either as a supplier or as a market taker, then I think it's reasonable in a startup before your hundreds of employee to, be all in and learn as much as
Okay.
you can.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Still on the training, do you imagine that this is going to be more like contained into the time slots of the training itself, or that you will have a lot of homework and research to do in parallel in terms of the growth process of a mediator?
I think there's going to be a lot of reflection, right?
Uh,
Because
of what? Sorry.
reflection that happens.
Okay.
So it's not like you go to training for like 4 hours or so per day or so, and then you're done with it, right? You got to process. Um, so I think in terms of research, it is probably going to be very light, if at all. So I don't think there will be a lot of outside commitment out of the workshops that you'll have to attend. I did provide a recommendation, a book, Getting to Yes, which is a very easy introduction to mediation because it's actually about principled negotiation. One of the people that we talked to actually last week that Victor mentioned, he also had a background because he learned about mediation, and hearing him talk, it's like, okay, he learned that style of interest-based negotiation that you can also utilize in mediation because it's all about interests, really. But there's an extra layer on top of that. So also the other extreme, what I've seen is that they take that one book and use it for all their mediations, which is still better than you know
Yeah.
than their
Well, it's like
available
you get a
alternatives to
tool.
that.
You have no tools, you find the tool. This is
Exactly.
the tool. It needs to fit every. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So I've seen that happen a lot because
Yeah.
often it's not all about interest, especially in the types of cases.
So getting to yes is principles negotiation
Yeah,
about
it's interest based, principled
interest based.
negotiation. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's also known as the Harvard approach because Yuri Fisher and Patton, they all ended up at Harvard and have taught that course in the program on negotiation, which I believe was embedded in Harvard Business School. But there's also a lot of overlap with law school over at Harvard, of course. But yeah, it's just one approach. It's a good introduction. The book itself is, I think, like 300 something pages or so, but it's a super fast read. You can read it comfortably and take notes and do all of that within a weekend, I would say.
Okay. I'll take a look into it for sure.
Right?
So as we are speaking, I'm trying to, since this session is focused more on mediators, I'm also thinking out and drafting some notes here. So this is in your development, in your growth strategy, can be a great opportunity to align with more mediators that you're onboarding and to use the, so even during the training, maybe we could include, I don't know if that's the plan or in parallel, to take mediators through the tool,
Yes,
so training them
yes,
into the tool.
yes, that is a goal. Definitely to onboard mediators to mediators.ai. I would say it probably depends. We still have to finish our analysis because, as Victor was saying, we launched Mediators AI. We had mediations on the platform, but we discovered that there needs to be some significant rework done before we open the floodgates, really, because otherwise we will be stuck in operations, which is not terrible, right? So you can do there's a lot of processes that have to be, um, that I thought were in place but are not, right? So there's actually quite a bit of manual work and necessary to make the machinery work as intended. And that was never the goal, right? Now, about a year after its initial conception phase, right? In a sense, long story short, we are not, at the point where we wanted to be, um, which has to do with, or the decreased team size has to do with that. The point where we are at after a year. Um, So there's some engineering work to be done, right? And there will always be mediators AI. In addition to that, though, as we talk about go-to-market strategy, because mediators AI is really for everyone, right? For two individuals, no matter what type of dispute they have, right, they can mediate a conflict on mediators AI. Um, in terms of go-to-market, we have a little bit of a more focused approach, and for that, we might or we will very likely end up building another front end that still utilizes the same backend services, improved backend services, and our new shiny deployment of the PAB that is more scalable. Um, but yeah, to your point, absolutely, we want the mediators to onboard on the platform, and then of course we also have our own logs internal Discord server where we have all the logs members, but then also a separate public-ish section that is for mediators that we already onboarded, and then of course we probably open it up to trainees as well.
Okay. Yeah. We still have like if it's gonna run for the length, like duration of November or something, there's time to manage both things.
Right.
So great stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. All right, let
Cheers.
me stop the recording and then you can tell us about what's up with you.